I guess, polarizing. I still believe the majority of you are huge Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn supporters and fans. But two guys, along with Richard Pitino, their coach, who brought Lobo basketball back, and it comes to a close tonight in the pit. Good morning to you. Happy senior night or senior morning. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and DC. How y'all living?
What it do?
Do you think I'm going too far when I say these two guys, and certainly Richard Pitino, right, their coach, but the players who brought Lobo basketball back over the last 3 years, the consistency, and we sit here and talk all the time about how it's 1 year to 1 year. You just don't know. This year it's Morris, or last year Morris Udesi and Josiah Alec, and this year it's JT Toppin and Nelly Jr. Joseph, and who knows what's next year, right? And in a year of NIL and transfer portal or in an era of, these guys stayed here 3 years. And they came here from other places. They both came with big names, big reputations, and I think big games, and obviously not big bodies. And I credit certainly Richard Pitino as the coach for bringing them here and that coaching staff. But the players who brought this program back to wherever it is, you may not be satisfied where it is yet, but it's Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn, whichever order you want, and they'll play their final game of the pick tonight.
Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn Jr. deserve a ton of credit for being the foundational pieces that have turned this team around. And with the expectations that are out there right now for the Lobos, which is NCAA tournament, which was for a time competing for a Mountain West regular season championship, those guys are at the forefront of it. And in the game of basketball, guards are going to be highlighted when they touch the ball more than anyone else, especially guards that shoot. And then maybe smaller guards when your team has struggled defensively. So it's going to be very, very polarizing. And I'm with you. I thought it would get to this point where it's noisy. I know there was a lot of back and forth here. People are upset up there. Went to the social media, went to other things that were posted after Jamal Mashburn Jr.'s press conference. And I am fascinated to see the response tonight, because I think it is going to be an overwhelmingly positive response in that arena, in that hit, when they announced Jalen House Jr., when they announced Jamal Mashburn Jr. as seniors. And I think this team is going to rally against Fresno State, but it has been a heck of a roller coaster ride over the last.
I'll get into the noise here in a little bit. I just want to get into facts. Okay. Lobo basketball, before these guys got here, the year before, and granted it was the COVID, were 6-16. They were 2-12 in Mountain West. They were 294 Ken Palm 303 net. Currently, they are 28 net. They are still in contention for the NCAA tournament. They have been nationally relevant for the last 2 years. Last year, they were the final undefeated team in America. I believe, as much as Richard Pitino and anybody else, these two young men are responsible for the crowds that we're regularly talking about 14, 15 plus thousand. We were not having that. Well, those are 21-8. 38 Ken Palm, 28. Give you a little bit on these two young men. And Jamal Mashburn was first team all conference last year. He was the Mountain West scoring champion at 19 plus points a game last year. In the 3 seasons, he is top 10 all time in points at the University of New Mexico and can move up. He is top 10 in free throw percentage and 11th in field goal rate in the top 10. Jalen House in 3 years, second all time behind Hunter Green. I believe he's right. He's third all time in free throw percentage. He is just outside the top 10 in assists, 371, and he's 16th on the all-time scoring list. And he's the best player of the year. Richard Pitino said yesterday, maybe I give these guys a bit too much leeway because of the effort. I know I'm always getting effort. Right? He said basically, I know what I'm getting. He said that's why I'm stuck with the mini team. They put in the work. They care. Effort has never been an issue. They show great leadership. Was that Was that in response to a question? I wasn't to a question in regards. I know Jeff Kramer asked. Do you feel like you stuck with them too much or give them?
Yes.
No. I read you those stats, numbers, accomplishments, whatever you want to call them, to put it in perspective. They're the ones who built these expectations. They're the ones who got you to the expectations that have gotten the fans who were upset, right? And I get, if you're a fan who's upset, like I'm not going to say how to be a fan. Yeah, I see it different, and I look at these two young men, the guys who brought global basketball back to whatever it is, back to the fact that you give a damn
That
as
you're
much as you
upset
do. Yeah.
about a team that's on the bubble right now.
Yeah.
That you're upset with performances, that you care about what's going on. And I think when you look at House and Mashburn, another thing to point out is how they have blended with Donovan Day. And everyone looks at Donovan Day, right, and says, this dude is not the future. This dude is now get out of his way. And yet all three of those dudes have been able to coexist on the basketball court. Hasn't been stories about a disagreement, them not wanting to be here, them not able to play together. Like, that's an assumption that people love to have looking at this backcourt. It's like, can't wait
It's
for
not
those
backed
guys
up with anything.
to get out of the way for Donovan Day. No, they're all playing together right now at a really high level because this basketball team is frustrating. The Air Force game stunk. But we're also see a team that can compete with anyone else in this conference. That compete in the Nevada team that beat Boise State. And so when you get to a neutral court, you hope they find that medium. Because it's been wild swings home and away all throughout the conference. And I still believe that this team has that ability in Vegas, and it's because of that entire package.
So I'll go on the record. I really don't. And I know I come at this from a different place than many of the people who listen to this. I understand that I'm not as emotionally vested as what is, right? I didn't go to UNM. I like the program. I want the program to do well. Our job is way more fun when the program does well. Like I wish good things for this program. I do. But I'm not as emotionally invested as so many of you are. I didn't go to UNM. I didn't grow up with local.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
Playing with Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr. coming in, and you look at Josiah Alec, like his dream was just always to play for Nebraska. So he didn't leave because it was totally he couldn't stand the backcourt and wasn't getting the ball enough. And sure, there was some frustration there, but I actually randomly, I think it was when I was in Laramie or something, ran across, watching the Big Ten Network, and they had a little segment on Josiah Allick.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wonder what's up. And she said the biggest dream ever was play for Nebraska.
Yeah, and
That's just a dude that went home to play, and it wasn't necessarily just because he couldn't stand.
Well, he also
guys.
wanted a different role on this team, right? I mean, he thought he was a ball handling 3, and he just that he wasn't, and certainly he wasn't on this team. And so it was like, all right, well, it's best for you to go because that's not going to be how it is here. I like nobody doesn't like Josiah Allick. So then, well, let's do this after the break because I know we're up on it. You brought up something else, and I know you brought it up yesterday, and I guess it was brought up in the press conference yesterday about the noise. That's always how I refer to it. The chatter on the social media about these two players. It's senior night, and I know that there's other seniors who are going to be honored tonight at senior night, and they all should be recognized. Isaac Mushila and Jamal Baker are going to be recognized as well. Evidently, Nelly Jr. Joseph and who's the fourth one I'm thinking of? I'm sorry, the sixth. I wrote it all down yesterday. Mustafa Amsil. They chose not to go through senior night.
So what Richard Pitino said
Yeah.
yesterday about that is you can only go through senior night if you graduated, and those guys haven't officially graduated.
Is that right?
Yes.
I never knew that.
That's what UNM does.
Huh. So if you don't get your degree, you don't get to go through senior night?
So it wasn't.
That's interesting to me. I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's what Richard Pitino said. And
Okay.
then when you think about it, you're like, well, are some dudes not done with their degree yet if it's senior night beforehand? So
Yeah. All right. That's very interesting to me because and maybe that it also could be deflecting to don't look here, nothing to see. Who knows? But I want to get into this. I want your thoughts. Nothing against Isaac Mushila and Jamal Baker, and you can talk about them too. But it's senior night, and last time you're going to watch these two guys, I'm going to go all the way back to I don't know what. I mean, is it Kendall Williams and Tony Snell? Is it further? Like, when have you had a better backcourt? Was it Darius Gary? I mean, take me back, because these two guys, and I you can tell me I'm wrong, and I'll listen to you, but I don't think I am. I think they are responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back. Back to what? Back to what it is. Back to relevant. Back to the fact that DC, you and I have this conversation all the time. You haven't really gone through the phenomena that is Lobo basketball. Every time our phones go nuts, what's it been about over the last 3 months? Has it been about the NFL or has it been about Lobo basketball?
It's usually Lobo basketball.
Right? And so bring it back to that. Bring it back to relevance. Bring it back to national heads talking about UNM. Jerry Palm coming on every week and knowing CBS Sports guy, knowing about UNM. That's where. Whether or not it's to where you want it to be, I firmly believe that. So as they play their final game, their legacy is what in your mind? 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. And I say their final game of the pit. Emails Jeff@sportsanimалabq.com. JJ@sportsanimalabq.com. We're on the Twitter, or JJ is, and it's called X, _JJ Buck. We're on Facebook. It's still called Facebook. The OD and the AM. You can watch the show there. Adrian's producing on ProView Networks on Comcast Channel 26. JJ got back late last night. Appreciate the effort, man. He flew in from Fresno after a big win. We'll get into that as well. Big second half for the ladies. I want to get there because it means a lot, that win last night, and what it clinched for them as their regular season is over. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the minutes. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most.
Well, there's 3. Utah State, who's in first place. And then Nevada and UNLV, may be the 2 best teams. JJ, who's the best team in the Mountain West right now? Nevada won last night in Boise. They won 76-66 on the road. Hunter McIntosh came off the bench for them and scored 26. So it's not just like you think, okay, it's all about Blackshear and Lucas for them and Davidson's playing well. Hunter McIntosh came off the bench and gave Steve Alford 26 points last night.
And we can probably have a different answer
tonight,
tomorrow morning,
maybe
Saturday morning, and of course Sunday morning on this conversation.
Certainly. In Vegas last night, it was UNLV beat San Diego State 62-58. Aztecs struggled. They didn't score a field goal for, I want to say, the first 8-9 minutes. And down the stretch, it was UNLV. They got close, and it was Didon Thomas who had 19 points. Keelan Boone had 16, and they really did a good job on Jaden LeDee, who had only 12. Or what was it, Ricky LeDee? Jaden LeDee?
Yes, whatever. Ricky LeDee.
Because they really did that. Ricky LeDee. Jaden Ledee had 12 points. They did a really good job, 2 of 12 shooting, and they harassed him. I don't know who I think the best team in this league is, but if you would tell me UNLV is going to win this thing or Nevada's going to win this thing, I wouldn't argue with you.
You can make an argument for multiple teams.
All right, so here's your standings. Utah State plays tonight. They do play tonight, right? The game's tonight. Yes. It's the game here, Fresno State and New Mexico. Utah State is home against San Jose State. So here's how you stand right now going into tonight. Utah State has a half-game lead over Nevada and Boise State. So if Utah State, and they will beat, I got to believe, they'll beat San Jose State tonight. So they go into Saturday's game with the Lobos looking to win the conference outright. That's what it's going to mean to them. It's not like you're walking into a lackadaisical group. They will be 13-4 looking to win the outright championship and cut down nets in Logan. Okay, Nevada closes out against UNLV. This is going to be a really good one. They are a half game back. Boise State closes out in San Diego. Okay, Boise State, Nevada, UNLV all tied a half game back of Utah State. You figure there'll be a game back after tonight. San Diego State is 11-6. They're in 5th place. Now there is still a way for the Lobos to avoid playing in the first round. If they win tonight, the Lobos beat Fresno State tonight and win in Logan on Saturday, and San Diego State loses at home to Boise State, which I think is possible. Aztecs aren't playing great, and they'll be home. Aztecs struggle on the road, man. Good thing they won at Gonzaga. You know what I mean? They don't have a good road winning conference. Good thing they won at Gonzaga. But if San Diego State loses to Boise State and the Lobos win their last two, they win in Fresno, they beat Fresno, and they win in Logan, then they can get off that 6th line and get the first round bye. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So that's where it is. But this league it's gotten bonkers. Meanwhile, in Fresno, J.J. Buck had the call. The Lobo women's basketball team has a big second half. They beat Fresno State 72-58 in the finale of the regular season, and New Mexico is the number 2 seed in the conference tournament. That's a pretty big deal.
It's an unbelievable deal. It's a second-place finish for a team that no one knew what to expect. They were picked 6th in the preseason poll. And the way this team has played in Mountain West action has been fantastic because it's the steps that you want to see. It's part of the process. This team had some frustrating moments in non-conference play, but they started to figure it out when they get to conference. They remind me of that Memphis Grizzlies team that everyone said, if you're going to Memphis, it's a grindhouse.
Okay.
And that's just what this Lobo team has embraced. Because at times, they can be frustrating. It's sluggish. They're not hitting shots offensively, but they find a way to stay in basketball games. And it could have got away from them quickly last night. And we talked about what worries you about Fresno State is offensively. And Fresno State was hitting shots earlier. They were up 11 at halftime, 39-28. And then the Lobos come out. They switch it up. Nahawa Diataberte starts the second half with Laura Langerman, kind of sending a message about effort and defensive intensity that's needed. And they hold Fresno State to 25% shooting in the second half. Now Wilson goes absolutely bonkers, scoring career-high 33 points. And they outscore Fresno State 44-19 in the final 2 quarters.
Big win. So the whole standings are a grindhouse. After UNLV, who finished 17-1, their one loss was to the Lobos. You look at it. Lobos are 12-6, Wyoming 11-7, Colorado State and Boise State and San Diego State all 10, and Nevada all 10-8. Air Force 8-10. It was a grindhouse, but second place at 12-6. And Mike Bradbury will take that team. I got to believe he was in a good place after the game of the postgame.
Yeah.
Race into the charter.
So, because of the response. And they've done that throughout the season. It was a frustrating first half. Now Augmin put up 3 fouls. It felt like instantly. And so your starting point guard is on the bench for the final 6 minutes of the second quarter. You're struggling to get things going offensively. You're not playing great defensively. And the bench stepped up, and that's huge for this team. It's been moments of other players stepping up, and this Wilson. It was also takeover time. Going downhill, getting to the basket, and Fresno State had no answer.
All right, so if you're going to Vegas, Lobos will not play on Sunday, women, in the play-in game or the first round. They will play the quarterfinals It will be 5 o'clock Vegas time, 6 o'clock our time in the Thomas and Mack Center on Monday. They will play the winner of the San Diego State-San Jose State game. They split with San Diego State, right? Or did they get swept by San Diego State?
No, they split with the Aztecs.
Okay. And what about San Jose State?
Beat them both times.
All right. So that's what you get. And if they get through that, they'll get the winner of Wyoming and then Boise State, Utah State. So Lobo women, second seed Mountain West Conference tournament, they will play on Monday. As for the men, we don't know yet. If they stay in that 6th slot, it will be 4 o'clock on Wednesday. If they somehow get out of that and get to the 5 seed, they'll get a bye until Thursday at 2:30. Those are all Pacific times. So add an hour for that. But gosh, what a big win for them on the road. All right. I got a bunch of texts already, and you guys are in on Lobo basketball. I'm hitting you on senior night. And I did put out, JJ, I did put out a request. I did ask for Jalen House and was told that, they just want to concentrate on Fresno State. They're turning down these requests, which is fine. But I said, I firmly believe, and I know some of you are just joining the show, I believe House and Mashburn are responsible for turning Lobo basketball around, to bringing it back, I've said. And you're going to say back to what? And I'm going to say back to the point where you care again, back to the point where you're passionate about it again, back to the point where you're putting 15,000 plus in the pit on a regular basis, back to where they're nationally relevant, back to where they're top 30 net, back to where they're playing games that matter in February and March. And no matter what happens over the next couple of weeks, and if they don't get into the NCAA tournament, you have every right to be disappointed. But they're playing senior night tonight. And JJ came up yesterday here, and I know it came up in other forums, and I want to get into this about the social media stuff and the fan base, and how do they feel? How does the fan base feel about House and Mashburn as they play their final game? We're going to get into that next, and I certainly have thoughts. They're mine. You don't have to agree with them, and I'll respect yours, even if I don't agree with them. But I want to get into where that goes, because I honestly don't understand some of it, and you can help me with it. And I know you're on the same page as me with that, right?
I am on the same page.
All right, we'll do that when we come back. The number's growing. International Protective Service has hundreds of homeowners and business owners in Albuquerque and Santa Fe who trust them to install alarms and cameras. Just keep their eyes on homes and businesses and respond quickly if alarms go off, and they respond with armed officers. Reality is police aren't coming for hours if they come at all. In most cases, IPS is there 7 minutes or less. You travel, you're gone, you work, you're not home all the time. Don't come home to be a victim of a break-in. I know you've noticed IPS officers at retail stores, Walmarts, Targets. It's working for them. IPS makes a difference. They can work for you too. I've trusted them for years. IPS gives my family, my neighbors, a sense of security. I trust IPS, and you can as well. Homes that are protected are far less likely to be homes targeted by the bad guys. Call them and see what they can do for you at 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at IPSglobal.com, passionate about making Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
San Diego State did in Vegas. So the Aztecs don't have what is considered a bad loss. Yesterday was their first non-quad one loss. And again, you get overwhelmed with all this stuff sometimes. But they are 20-8. Their 7 losses before last night were quad one losses. They're 3-7 in quad one. And you say, well, at some point, don't you have to win games? Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And I don't know, not sure I understand either. They're 6-1 quad 2, and then they haven't lost quad 3 or 4. UNLV is moving up.
It's just wild how no one can think the Mountain West can be good. Like they complain that other conferences get this leeway.
Yeah, this is the leeway
with
other
the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC. At times, there's just complaint of how does this happen? But when it's happening for the Mountain West, so many people out there want to question it.
Yeah,
and go, this isn't real. This isn't true.
Let me give you the updated net rankings as of this morning. San Diego State stays at 19th. Boise State dropped to 27. They were, before they lost last night, they were 24th. New Mexico is at 29th, which is crazy. Again, they're in quad one. New Mexico is 2-5. But the computers love them. They're 29. Nevada's up from 40 to 32 after winning on the road last night. Nevada's 32. Colorado State's 36, and then the team who's going to win this thing is 38. So you got 6 teams in the top 40, and then UNLV got up to 77 with that win. UNLV's issue is they have these quad 4 losses. And they came early in the season. They were not good to start the season. They lost to Southern. They lost to Richmond. They lost to Loyola Marymount. And so that was going in. Those were their 3 quad 3 losses. And Florida State they lost to. And then all of a sudden, you look at them and they're going, dude, they are as good as anybody. They have won 10 of their last 11 games. Their only loss was that game against Nevada where they blew the lead late. Like, honestly, I don't know what the odds are. I think UNLV is going to win the tournament.
Yeah, they are right there in the mix, and we could be talking about a 7 bid.
Well,
Mountain West Conference if you don't lose to Southern.
If you don't lose to Southern. Yeah. It is crazy. All right, I want to get into this. So you brought this up yesterday. Well, we all brought up, look, there's been Lobo fan who has been, whether it's turned or been critical, whatever you want to call it, for Mashburn and House on the Twitter. And Travis sent me a text of 505-246-0610. It says, these so-called fans sending these vile tweets to players need to be publicly named and shamed. When did being a grown-up become too much to ask? I guess this became a huge topic yesterday. Jeff Grammer talked about it. It came up at the press conference with Richard Pitino yesterday, right?
Yeah, there is been a difference of just critical of players to outright bashing these dudes and the people that are already looking forward to when they're not here. This season isn't over. This team is still playing to try to get to the NCAA tournament, and there's this sense that, man, this team will be better with.
All right. We talked about it yesterday. You had a gentleman named Steven call. He was pretty passionate in his call about you. That said, look, it's not the majority. And it might not be. I don't know. I don't believe it's the majority either. I think it's a minority. I think it's a vocal minority of people, Lobo fans, who have been ripping House, Mashburn, Pitino. And look, when you don't win, that's part of it. And I've told you this over and over for, years and years. Passion goes both ways, man. When you win and you stand there and you hit the big shot and people love you, that's passion, man. But when you don't win and you don't play well, and that's passion as well. And I'm not telling you any of the stuff or the stuff that's out there on the Twitter, X, all that stuff that it's right, but it's fans, right? And that's the modern day sports speak up, sports talk radio. That's what it is. DC, Richard Pitino was asked yesterday in regards to, I guess Jeff Grammer asked a question, and it was basically in regards to, with all the noise out there, and do you feel like maybe you've stuck with these guys and in too many minutes, and that was the lead into what you're going to hear from Richard Pitino.
When you're a coach, you make a lot of decisions, and you're never going to be 100% perfect. If I listened to people, I would have not played MASH in the Nevada game. I would have benched him. If I listened to the people that are tweeting at me and yelling at me or whatever, I wouldn't have played him, and he wouldn't have won the game for us on the road, quad one win. So, that's just part of coaching is you got to have some conviction. And I feel as though those two guys, it's not like they're bad players getting a lot of rope. These are two guys who have been all-conference players every year they've been here. MASH was the scoring he won the scoring title last year, right? So, it just depends on every guy. But you just got to live with the decisions that you make. I think after 29 games, 21-8, and I really feel like we've only had one bad loss, and it was a bad loss. I understand that, but I think it's been a pretty darn good season, and hopefully we continue to finish it the right way.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what he said. You're a coach, and I've told you this because I really believe it. JJ, those coaches want to win more than Joey from Albuquerque, right? Guy sitting in section P, row 7. This is his job. And Richard's come on here and he says, "Look, you got to win games. You're not going to be here." They want to win more than you do. They're in it every day. You go to your job, and this is your outlet, and you love global basketball. And I think that's good. I'm not mad at you for it. It's what we do. That's why sports are great. But I firmly believe that these coaches who are there every day, who are watching these guys in practice, who know their weaknesses, who know their strengths, are absolutely putting the guys in the game that give them the best chance to win. And I know you've been screaming for Webb and Forsling and more Baker and more Mushila, and I get it. Nobody screamed that after the Nevada game, by the way. Did they?
No.
And I will absolutely give it to you. Yes, Mash has been in a shooting slump. House hasn't played well the last 2 games. Yeah. And so do you just not play them? Do you just go to the bench? Do you go to guys who you feel are not as good? These guys have proven to be really good players. I firmly believe Mashburn's more hurt than than we know. I think we're gonna find that out. But I don't know. I just think coaches know more than I do. They're there every day. They see what goes on. They know who gives them the best chance to win.
And with Richard Pitino, what he's done with this rotation, he's said, all right, these are the 7 dudes that he's playing. And I know it's been discussed that, well, you need to tweak it. But it's also finding that balance of letting good players fight through slumps versus just throwing something out there that you haven't done, you haven't worked on. Like, the team isn't all of a sudden going to start playing zone defense entirely, just not going to go to someone that hasn't been playing. Now, to me, that's a better question than what's been thrown out there. The team is quitting, these guys give no effort, which I think is just outrageous. Like, sometimes it's hard for people, for the amount of sports that people consume and watch. Like, sometimes you just get beat. It's not always the coach doesn't know how to coach. There was no adjustments. Like, it's going both ways. And the Air Force game is just dragging so many people down, questioning things that I don't think are true with this team. And it's the effort and attitude.
It's not just you, right? It's what fans are. Can I read you what I woke up to this morning?
Yep.
Aztec fan. WTH was the offensive series with Parrish hoisting a block 3. Another bad road game, late management. What is Dutcher thinking? It's not just Lobo.
It's sport, but it's also one that there's you got to find your way through that, because some people are talking pure basketball and other people are just talking nonsense.
Yeah.
And when it hits nonsense, it's to me the amount of college athletes that's been around, the work that I know they put in on and off the field, court, whatever sport it is. It's wild when it gets to the personal bashing point of college athletes.
I think this too, and I don't know if this is played in. I thought about this yesterday. So, as much as these fans want to go to the NCAA tournament, you think they want to go more than Mashburn or House do? You think they want to experience watching the Lobos in the NCAA tournament more than those guys want to walk on a floor in one of these arenas? I promise you the answer is no. This is it for House. Mash probably is it. I guess he could play another year. Do you think those guys aren't giving you the effort? You think they're losing because of lack of effort? Like, do you honestly believe that you want to watch the Lobos in the NCAA tournament more than those guys want to play in it? I promise you the answer is no. You don't want to get there more than Richard Pitino does, who wants to experience going back. Oh, by the way, he gets a nice bonus and puts himself in whatever echelon. Right?
And that doesn't mean you don't question things as fans. Like,
right.
we have conversations, but it is obviously gotten to a tipping point with this team when it's not just here and people screaming that it's it's a broad brush. It's
all right, hit me on the tipping point. And again,
there was a lot of positive response yesterday,
okay,
and I'm not going to deny that. So after the show, people kind of called us out and saying, "Hey, we're talking about this," and it's a media narrative that's taken off.
Is it a media narrative? I will argue. I will push back on that. I would tell you the media is insanely kind to this team. I don't give me one media guy in this town, one guy with a microphone, and you could tell me
that's pushing the negative narrative that the fans are being. That like it's taken over the top.
Okay.
That the fan base isn't reacting.
And you could tell me we're too soft on them, and I'll listen to that. Right? You could absolutely say the media is too soft on them. Give me one person in the media who said, like a negative thing at all.
No, that we're
acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Right?
That is that we're taking it over top, and it's not the fan base. It's just it's finding.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. It just hit me and go but when both coaches and players have brought it up in post game comments unsolicited about the noise. It's not a media created thing. When we've heard players in post game shows and DC, we played it on the air here, and see you guys, they said it unsolicited about the noise, about the Twitter, about the stuff on the internet. They've said it. So yeah, we've acknowledged it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, it's the good and the bad, and it's not as easy as people say it is. And I saw a lot of that yesterday. Of like, it's part of the game.
It is.
Grow tough skin, but it's also it's different when you're on a basketball court, reacting to the oohs and ahs and the yelling versus
where's the line?
Someone that is directly sending you a message.
Then this is really fair. Then where's the line? Where if you're a fan and you're upset with the way they played, I mean, and this is a really fair conversation. I mean, you've got a right to go on, pick up your phone and use your thumbs and tweet something out that you're upset with the way the game ended. You're allowed to question the coach, right? Or a shot selection, aren't you? Is it when it gets personal?
That's why there's call-in shows. That's why there's radio
But is
shows.
it when it gets, because I remember a referee once told me, he said, if you told me that call sucks, I can live with that. If you tell me I suck, I'm going to tee you up. Okay? And I'm going to throw you out, right? If you tell me that was an idiotic call, all right, fine. You tell me I'm an idiot, that's where you cross the line. Is that where the line is? If it was a bad shot or it was a stupid play or he's a stupid player, then you cross the line? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right, I continue this at the top. I don't want to burn this thing into the ground, but I want to walk through, because there's fans out there just going, well, whatever, man. I'm allowed to say what I want. Yeah, probably, but where do you guys think the line is? I want to continue this when we come back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Sound.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See you, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
drive you madmen home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
Basketball season. Nevada won last night. You were hoping Nevada would lose 2 in a row and you would win 2, so you could get off of that play-in game, that 6 line. Nevada won in Boise last night, but San Diego State lost in Las Vegas. So if San Diego State can get beat by Boise State on Saturday at Viejas, and the Lobos can win tonight against Fresno State in the pit and go up to Logan, who it looks like Utah State's going to be playing for outright Mountain West Conference championship to cut down nets. But if you can win both those games and San Diego State loses, then San Diego State goes into the playing game and you get the 5 seed. That's what you're hoping in the conference tournament. So it's not over yet. All right, it's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and DC. So I really want your opinions on this, because I've got thoughts, but I haven't read as much as you all have. I've seen some of it. There's been a lot of talk about the social media criticism. Give me the word. Criticism. All right. Of global basketball. And I'm going to tell you, to some respect, to a large respect, I mean, there's not an issue with that. I think that's part of being an athlete, part of being a fan. You got thumbs, you got a phone, you got an opinion, boom, it's out there. So where does it cross the line? Because there's been a lot, cross the line, go too far. I mean, what should etiquette be? And all of you have a certain thought. You know, they're just kids. No, they're not. They get NIL. They're grown ass men. Okay. Where is the line? And I firmly believe that when you hit the shot, you hit the game winner, when you're basking in the glory, that's one thing. But the other side of it is you kind of got to eat it when it goes the other way. Where is the line where it's too much? Because some Lobo fan, and you know, you've been talking about it, and I heard it on the show, right? We got the text a little while ago from Travis. These vile tweets, okay? What's too far? What's okay?
I think direct personal attacks, even on social media.
All right.
As opposed to just saying, man, this dude can't play defense. What are they doing? But if you're like direct messaging or tagging a student athlete,
so is that going down a lot? They're direct
comments,
messaging them?
Then to me, that's like, take a breath, step back.
So stay out of my DMs.
Like, you're doing too much. Absolutely. And you know what, Jeff? I think tonight, the pit, the fan base, overwhelming support for Jalen House, for Mount Ashburn. I think there's a pushback.
I think
on
so
the
too.
other side
I think so too.
And I think that arena will show them respect. I think that team responds at home, and I'm hoping just for a great atmosphere.
They deserve it.
It's a late one, but I do think that the fans, they heard it, and trust me.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I saw it all day. I did. The sports animal Twitter account was blowing up. There was a lot of stuff going.
I should get on that.
Jeff Grammer, just going back and forth. So I believe there will be an overwhelmingly positive response for House and Mashburn. Then it's up to UNM to get a victory.
I've told you, I think House and Mashburn are responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back. Back to what? Back to what it is. Back to relevancy. Ronnie sent a text, 505-246-0610. Jeff and JJ, Lobo fans calling for Patino's head are absolutely delusional. They are the same ones calling for Bradbury's head, too, after multiple 20-win seasons. I think both programs are in great shape, just my rational opinion. That's from Ronnie. There's another one that says, good morning. I believe that House needs to go back to having fun with his WWF moves and getting in the head of the opponent. When he's doing that, somehow MASH really goes well. That's who we are. Go Lobos. I think he needs to be him. You know what I mean? Just be you.
do you.
That's what made those two guys so good. One calm, collected, smooth, just assassin from the mid-range. And the other one was this guy that you love to hate if he's not yours, and you love him if he's yours. And go be you, man. Go agitate. Go be dynamic. Go do what got you guys to the point. I mean, I don't know. It's legend might be too much of a word. I guess legend, but these guys are going to be remembered in tandem, and they're going to be remembered fondly. I firmly believe as guys who brought Lobo basketball back. 505-246-0610. Let's go. Want to hear from you. What's too much? What's acceptable? Here's what I say, and I'll tell you this all the time, and I live by this on the radio. I won't say something on the radio that I won't say to a guy's face. Is that the criteria? If you wouldn't say it to that person if he was sitting in front of you, should you maybe not chop it out on your phone? I'm just throwing it out there. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burkia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
They're not easy, but last chance to see Jalen House and probably Jamal Mashburn in the pit. And I hope they get the send-off they deserve. I said this earlier. I know the audience turns over. I will get a chance at some point to shake both their hands and thank them for bringing Lobo basketball back. I firmly believe those two gentlemen are responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back, and certainly with Richard Pitino, right? And if you'll say, back to what? And I hear Aggie fan, back to what? What? Easy. Easy. But
back to we're having a discussion about how upset it's making you.
Well, yes.
That you care, that it's taking you over the top.
That you care this
it's
much.
Back, baby.
Back to 50, sold out pits, back to national relevance, back to top 30 in the net, back to the conversation of being in the NCAA tournament all year.
You're still there.
Yeah.
Updated bracket on the right side for now. Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, put out his bracket this morning. Lobos, that's playing game in Dayton.
Going to Dayton. Go
win a couple games, and you could move yourself off that line.
Every year, somebody gets in off that line. Yeah. Dan, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Dan. Hey, DC, will you turn Dan's mic up? Hold on, DC's on the phone. We turn Dan up a little. Will you turn his mic up? All right, Dan, what's up, man?
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. What's happening, Dan?
You know, I've always been so impressed with these student athletes, the fact that they can perform their athletic duties and their schoolwork. I've always thought that these extracurricular are an extension of the classroom. And there's those out there going to be saying, "Oh, come on, man! These guys are taking basket weaving and camp counseling." You know what I mean? No, it's difficult. And they are young people. These are young people. They're not NIL aside and everything. These are still young people developing. When I hear somebody trash them and trash the coach and all, it's just ridiculous, man. These young people work so hard. We've got to love them. We've got to support them. And that's it. Just be a silly fan, you know? You guys know me. Hell, I don't know who's coaching who and who's in charge of what, but I'm a silly fan, and I love them, and I support them. And it's just crazy to be bashing on these young student athletes like that. Just support them. Go Lobos.
Thanks, Dan. I think one of the cool things that was said yesterday at the press conference, JJ, was when Jamal Mashburn said, that he's most proud of is he's going to be the first one in his family to get a college degree, that he graduated. And he's like, yeah, all my dad's accolades and everything my dad did and all the great things that he did. But this is really cool. And you work your ass off for that. And it doesn't come easy. And I know plenty of people poo-poo that, and it's nothing to poo-poo. It's a big deal. And just seeing Jamal swell with pride, I thought was really cool.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that you still have to play class at some point to be a college athlete. And, the work that's put in to get your degree, it matters. Everyone who's gotten one understands what it's like to finally have that moment. And I'm right there with you, hearing kind of Jamal Mashburn say that's one of the things he's proud of. You appreciate it.
I am so impressed by that. To be honest, a dude like that, he grew up with an NBA dad. He probably is okay financially. He probably could get away without it. But for him to put in that work, I am so impressed with that. I have not heard those quotes, but I can tell you he wow, what a stud.
I'm just going to tell you, everything about that young man is impressive. Everything. And if you've ever met him in person, he looks one of those athletes who looks you in the eye, who shakes your hand, who speaks with you, not at you.
Very thoughtful.
Right?
His responses are very mature, very
and it's been
well
that way
thought
since
out.
he got here. Right? I've been impressed with that young man, and I didn't do any games this year. Last year I got a couple of games, and then the Richard Pitino's first year, the football schedule worked out where I think I called 5 Lobo games. I traveled with them. I was on the road with them in Vegas. I was on the road with them in Boulder, and got to spend a little time with them then. And I remember I came back and told you how impressed I was with him then. Like that is, that's everything you want representing your program. That's that young man right there. And I get it. He didn't hit enough jump shots for you. I got it. But he kind of did in Nevada, didn't he? At Reno. He's everything you want representing your program. He's bright. He's polite. He's cordial. He's respectful. Oh, by the way, he's really freaking good. He just got his degree. He's everything you want representing your program.
I agree with that. And I think most people will agree with that, but they'll say he still doesn't play defense.
Yeah, but
and so this is where
short.
and this is a challenge. And
I know
of people saying, "Hey, what you care, so you criticize." But I think what you asked is there's a line, and that line has been crossed by some, and it's always going to be crossed. And what you hope is that there's enough pushback from fan bases, because this is a sport issue. This isn't just, hey, we're pointing fingers and standing on our soapbox at you, Lobo fan. No, this is an issue in sport. Or because of social media, because of everything that goes on, like, you hit people directly. And it's easy to say, put your phone down, but it's such a part of all of us now, our personality. Like, these players grew up with it. It's there. The people that are tweeting, what are they probably tweeting from? Their phones as well. So it's a battle in this day and age. And I know that I've been thinking about it just the last couple of days, all the back and seeing the positive response is great, because that having that pushback helps, because there's always going to be negativity out there. There's always going to be people that just don't know what they're talking about, saying dumb stuff. And I really do think tonight could be a catalyst for this team. Just hearing the response, hearing the positivity for House and Mashburn, because they understand they have to play well, but they get that. Like, I don't think this team is quitting. I don't think it's a lack of effort. Like, they've gotten beat. Sometimes in sport, there's things that are hard to explain, which, the Air Force game for a lot of people is no adjustments, no effort. Like, sometimes you get caught in that rut. But tonight could be a catalyst of just such a great energy in that building, being 8:30, being senior night, get a win, and whatever happens at Utah State, just find the right mindset to be in going to Las Vegas.
Rudy, you're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have nothing but praise and respect for Lobo basketball. By the way, that game last night, Nia Wilson just took over the game. I was so impressed, because I thought, I tune in, and before you know it, they're down, I think, 14 or 17, and that was a team effort, and I'm happy for them. They're in second place. That's a great accomplishment for this team. I don't think any beginning of the year thought that the women would be in second place and would actually have a win over UNLV to show for it. So congratulations to them. Now on to the men. I remember when our net ranking was 303, I mean, one of the worst basketball teams in Division I basketball. And you hire Richard Pitino, and 3 years later we're complaining about being 28th in the net. I think people who complain about that...
Nobody's complaining about being 28th in the net. And you know that. That's not what they're complaining about. But yes.
But who got them there?
No, I agree.
These two kids. And if it wasn't for Mashburn and House coming in and taking a chance on us, taking a chance on Lobo basketball, taking a chance on playing in the pit, we wouldn't have this conversation. And the people who were down on the team, that's their business, but they are the very, very small minority of Lobo fans. There's going to be over 13,000 people there tonight. I would like to see a sellout. 8:30 on a Wednesday night is a tough sell, but we've done all kinds of things this year that we never thought we could do before. And I really, really appreciate Jamal and Jalen. And when you talk to them, they're gentlemen. They're locked in. They listen to you. They look at you. You know, there's no ice shifting. There's no looking down. There's no, oh, I'm bored. These kids are class acts. And while we haven't had the last 5 games the way we wanted them to, that's basketball, that's life, and that's sports. But I do know one thing, that they're always going to give their best effort, and you're going to see that tonight, and you're going to see UNM beat Fresno State. I'm taking my mom for the last game of the season, and, it's just a wonderful family thing, and I've always been a Lobo fan, will always be a Lobo fan, and I can't imagine people bashing kids, but I guess they do that to their kid when he strikes out in a Little League game. They call him trash and tell him he doesn't get his
no mentions for you tonight.
You know?
No mentions.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have fun out there.
Okay, we'll see you out there.
Thanks. A couple things, and I know I'm repeating some of this stuff, and I'm willing to be talked off the ledge if you disagree with me, or I'm at least willing to listen to it. These two young men, 2 of the 4 seniors, are going to go through senior night. Hopefully we'll get a huge thank you for bringing Lobo basketball back. Last game in the pit. House and Mashburn and House. Do you know how spoiled you've been to have this backcourt for the last 3 years? Do you know how, like how much national publicity you've gotten and how many great games you've had? And I think you do. I think most of you do. I do. And as far as, JJ, the social media stuff, and this is kind of where I'll leave it, and if you disagree with me, please tell me. And I try to live by this. I hope I do. I won't say it in a tweet, and I don't think I say it on the radio, if I wouldn't say it to someone's face. And it feels like that's, you guys help me. I mean, we're saying, where's the line? Where is it? Is that a fair place to start with the line? If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, should you thumb it out and put it out there and because you get to hide behind your phone? Is that a fair place to start with
I
the
think
conversation?
And there is a difference, and we are discussing a difference of people just talking game versus direct attacks, and there is that going on of these players, and that is why tonight I believe there's going to be an overwhelmingly positive response, because people are saying, well, it's just the vocal minority. Well, let's see the vocal majority.
Yeah, and I think they're going to show up tonight. I think you're going to feel it. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM. At AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Last thing, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service.
Yes.
And he gets it too.
A lot of great basketball.
So Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, is going to join us. I got this, and this is a really, really interesting perspective. And let me give you this, and it comes from someone obviously very, very vested in UNM. This is fans need to understand that their words have an impact on the future. And keeping players here, like JT and Donovan Dent. That negativity will hurt the program for years because it's the vocal minority. They're doing it publicly, and the kids see it. It says the magic in what gets these kids, and they are kids, are impacted by the cheering in the pit. We've seen it. When they scream at our team and boo them, it doesn't help them say, I'm going to play harder because the fans booing, see we're not playing well, so I'm going to play harder. Now more than ever, we need them to be positive in their words and in their support. Right? And basically what it's saying is that the fans have an impact. And this is coming from a place that you know, someone who is understands what's going on. It's not a one-year thing. It's a building a program, right? And programs are going to have up and downs. I can't, even the most angry Lobo fan can't argue that the program's being built, right? And if you stay the course with this coach and this staff, and again, that's up to the coach and what else is out there. And we're reminded all the time it's a year-to-year thing. But there is an impact. And as much as the fans, and Richard has used, this was really interesting. Richard has used the pit, at least publicly in press conferences, as the biggest recruiting tool, right? To play in this building, the pit. And if the fans become, and that's the other side of it, and I understand that. But I'm going to remind you again how lucky you have been to have this backcourt for 3 years. And we are told every day in college athletics, look, it's year to year. We'll worry about next year. The portal's going to turn everything over. And you have had 3 guys, and even those of you who might not like Jalen House, if you don't like his antics or whatever, I don't even think you could say he's been anything but an exemplary Lobo. Like both of these guys, there's been no off-court drama, has there? Has there been any arrests, any fights, any of the stuff that you got so, I don't want to say used to, but were not uncommon with Lobo basketball in the past, right? With all the off-court stuff, you can go back to the house party shooting, right? With Jaquan Lyle when he didn't go to Nevada and Airbnb'd a house and had a party and there was a shooting, right? To the Carlton Bragg stuff and whatever. And none of that. You've got 2 guys who have been, I think, incredibly passionate, who have been one of the best backcourts in college basketball for 3 years, and you've been really lucky. And senior night tonight,
man, it's when you remember how messy that stuff was,
right?
Like, I will take arguing about defense all day, every day over that other stuff, which was just outrageous. It was crazy,
right? It wasn't uncommon.
All the off the court mess that was going on with those players, and the most frustrating thing with Jalen House for some people is he chews on a mouthpiece.
Damn him!
Like, get over it.
Damn him!
And it's so much better than worrying if something's going to happen at a party over there.
All right, and I was just going to bring DC in and the phone ring, so I want to bring him in right after this because I made a point earlier, and I believe this, but DC had a really good point to this. JJ, I said to you that as much as you want to win, I got to believe these guys want to win more. Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn grew up in basketball families. Their dads are both legends. This is it, man. House, this is it. Mash, it could be it. As much as you want to watch your team in the NCAA tournament, those guys want to walk onto a floor at the NCAA tournament. Richard Pitino wants to win. It's his job. He gets bonused on it. It's his profession. As much as you want to win, I firmly believe that these guys want to win more. DC, you had a really interesting perspective.
I see this fan base as very passionate, and I look at some. As the producer, I take a lot of calls. I hear a lot of things that don't.
You
go
hear
there.
stuff off the air.
I hear some things.
Real stuff.
There is some serious passion here, and I will say, if you went to this school 4, 5, 6 years, however long you were there, you got your degree. You continue to show up when they win or lose. Doesn't matter. You're going to the women's games. You're going to the men's games. You're going to baseball and soccer, volleyball, all the things. You probably do want it as much as some of those players. And that's the thing about this fan base. It's like there is so much passion sometimes that boils over and ends up in negativity online. But I do think there's some Lobo fans out there who want it just as much as anyone on the court.
It's interesting. Yeah. And I want to clarify something, too. When I say these 2 guys are responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back, I'm not telling you they're responsible for getting them to 28 in the net. I'm not. These are the guys that have been the core of this for 3 years, right? And there have been really, really, really good players along the way, and there are now, who are responsible for making this team and this program good. But those 2 guys bought in when this was 30 whatever 300 and what like they came here and this wasn't a good program, man. It wasn't. And that's when I say they're responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back. They're not the sole reason that the program is good, but they're the foundation. That's kind of where I'm going with that. Jeffrey, good morning here on the Sports Animal.
Hey, what's up? You know, I was thinking, like, as fans, we get basketball about 3-4 months out of the year, and out of those 3 or 4 months, we have 2-hour games that equal about 30-32 games a year, maybe a little more if you're lucky, and that boils down to about 70 to 75 hours a year of activity that generates all of this that we're talking about. And when you put it in the context of, like, how many people actually pay as much attention to what's going on versus to the scoreboard and maybe watching a game or two here and there, it's a very, very small percentage of people that are probably talking out of, like, less than well-informed, robust information. And I think if we all just put things into perspective of what we're talking about, we'll see that we've got a couple of great players in House and Mashburn that helped resurrect this program, much like a Dyrese Gary did with Steve Alford when he came here. And if we can just remember, whether you think they're kids or men or whatever, it's a game, and we're in a position that we're in now as a team that we haven't been in a decade. We should consider ourselves lucky. We're on an upward trajectory. So let's try and put everything into perspective and move from that point.
Yeah, I think it's good. Thanks, Jeff. Perspective's tough sometimes, and it's emotional, right? It's why you get into this stuff. It's emotional. You want to win. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I watched pick it, whether it's the Chiefs or what you how the San Diego State run last year. I've never what it did for that fan base, that university. I've never seen anything like it, because they'd never been there. It kind of came out of left field, and I told you at the time, JJ, I want that so bad for this fan base. And then you start to sniff it, you get it.
And what makes my job fun, getting to work with women's basketball, what I like about covering basketball is people care. And the building's full, and I appreciate it. And I'm not going to say there should never be any negativity, because that's not what we're talking about. It's not everything's going to be Skittles and rainbows. When you're invested, when you're emotional, you're going to go through the highs and lows. And I do think that, as fans, they ride it even more so than players do, because there's a reason that coaches and players talk about you can't get too high, you can't get too low, because how long does that stay with you? How long is that in your system? And for fans, it's a lot longer than it is for players. And so it's learning about it, and it goes back to what you say. It's you got to take the good with the bad. There's a difference with that, of being able to acknowledge, hey, we didn't play a good enough defense tonight. I missed that shot. I know next opportunity I'm going to get there, versus what happens. And it's not an easy road to navigate these days when that line is crossed. It's crossed all the time. It's crossed when the players are on the court. It's crossed in social media. But you just hope that it's not something that becomes this overwhelming talking point for your fan base, because this is more than watering the rocks, right? Like there's been a swell of not just criticizing play, but specific players, and you just hope that, all right, it's pushed back on, you get a great fan base showing up at 8:30, the last home game, and I think this building's going to be popping. All the seniors, but specifically House and Mashburn, I believe we're going to get a fantastic applause roar tonight, and we'll see if everything this team's gone through over the last couple weeks, the character they have, because Utah State, that's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be the same. That building's going to be popping. They could be playing for Mountain West Region title. So tonight is embrace this moment and go play as hard as you can against Logan, and then find the right mindset when you go to Las Vegas.
David said, please give credit to the whole team for being 29th in the net rather than just two guys. Dent, Toppin, Joseph are very responsible for any successes they've had so far this year, as well as their disappointments. Are you worried they're going to get booed tonight or something? That won't happen. It's going to be loud in there. The people that are doing whatever it is that you're referring to on social media probably not listening to your show this morning. You should do this show instead of us, man. It'd be way better. We can be and should be honest about their performance on the court, and since their conference record is 9-7, it hasn't always been good, and in the 7 losses, it's sometimes been terrible. That's not a personal attack on anyone, just the truth. Hopefully they can all step up and play better than they played the last 3 weeks or so. And by the way, any program with passionate fans is the same way. I would never boo a player, coach, official, etc., but I have eyes and lots of basketball experience and an opinion. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially since it's really expensive to support the program. Look, I agree with you on almost all of this. You have an opinion and you're allowed to voice it. To say that it's not personal, what we're referring to, I mean, this isn't just made up. The players are referring to it. The coaches have referred to it, whether they're listening to the show or not. And I'm going to guess many are, right? Yeah, you can be honest about them. 100%. What JJ's saying, and I agree on, is when it gets personal, when you're in their DMs, does that cross the line? David, you're right, man. They have not played well the last few weeks. And as a passionate fan, you have a right to be disappointed and express that 100%. I guess the conversation. It's funny that I read that right after what I said. I didn't give credit to Mashburn and House for being 29th in the net. I said those are the two guys who brought the program back. Over the 3 years, they have been the foundation. In a sport that I'm told all the time, it's year to year, it flips every year. Those two guys have been the foundation. Yeah, I am giving those two guys and this coach credit for bringing Lobo basketball back in 3 years. Yeah, I am. Not for being 29th in net. No, that's the whole thing. That's Top and Dent, Joseph. Yeah, I know you're right on that. But absolutely, I am giving them credit for bringing the program back. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Bracketologist, Jerry Palm's got New Mexico on the bubble right now, Carter. We got to win a game. Jerry Palm's going to be with us right about now tomorrow, so make your plans to be with us and hear what he says, and that's going to be coming off the game tonight. 505-246-0610. What's up, Travis? You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning, fellas.
What's happening?
Listen, I'm excited about tonight's game. I'm excited to celebrate these incredibly talented seniors, especially Mash and House, who turned this program around and brought us back to national relevance and restored the pit. But that's not what I want to talk about this morning. I want to give a public service announcement to Lobo fans. There's a dark cloud that's settled around our program because so-called Lobo fans have forgotten where the line is between voicing real frustrations after a loss about what happened during a game and just being vile and hateful on social media. The comments that we've all seen directed at these players on social media and the comments being reported by Grammar are disturbing. You have any idea how much of a pathetic loser you have to be to send hateful direct messages to a college kid? You're just another also ran in life, pal. But this is not new in sports. We've all read the stories about these bums DMing NFL players because they lost their fantasy football matchup. And if you're doing that, I'm telling you to your face right now that you're a chump. But to Lobo fan, how do you think it's going to help this team in recruiting if players around the country know that if they have a bad game, a bunch of couch dwellers are going to blow up their feed? You need to understand that you're hurting this team, this program, and this brand. You're diminishing our reputation as loyal, passionate fans. I mean, you should be embarrassed, but you won't be because you're a keyboard warrior with a Twitter account hiding behind your handle. You would never say the things you tweet to any of these players in person because you don't want to get Cam Newton. So for the rest of us human beings and even those Lobo fans that may be on the fence, we need to rally around this team. I'm not saying it's been a perfect season, but we're in the national conversations again right now that we haven't been in for more than a decade, and that's something to celebrate. Go Lobos.
Thanks, Travis. We never got into the Cam Newton thing, by the way. Cam Newton's now it's now a verb. You got Cam Newton.
Got Cam Newton. Yeah, let's attack a gigantic NFL player at his own camp.
He threw him off like they were children.
Yeah,
he did. He was so good. I'm sorry, that's the main thing I took out of that call. Actually, it was a really good call. He said, if you're DMing and calling people things that you would never say to their face, I'm saying it to your face, you're a chump. I mean, okay, that's what Travis said. I get passion, and I don't know what's in the DMs. I'm going to guess they're relatively unpleasant. And I know it works both ways. There's got to be a line, doesn't? Or maybe there doesn't. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
That was a wonderful call, Travis. I for myself don't want to be Cam Newton. I don't want to fight a guy that's 6'6".
No, it's a bad idea.
245 pounds and dresses really well.
Yeah.
Hey, the Lobo program, I'm not a huge Lobo fan, but because I'm living the proximity of the city, I support them, and I'm a huge fan of their coach. I think he's done tremendous things, and this program has given the entire community and the entire state an opportunity to rally around something very positive. I think a very close parallel to what I see with this Lobo program is the Dallas Cowboys franchise, and let me elaborate. I think because we live in a city of roughly 1 million people, plus or minus, and there's no other professional sports here, the Lobo program benefits from a lot of press coverage, and, they're the main game in town, and it's awesome, right? They're also a victim of that as well, because as you get coverage all year and expectations are high, and then there's unrealized expectations, it propagates some disappointment with a certain fraction of fans. So the Cowboys, they get press all year, right? And then there's kind of irrational exuberance, unmet expectations or unrealistic expectations. And when they don't deliver, then there's a massive outcry and disappointment. Now, I'm not saying the Lobo program is exactly like the Cowboys, but there's some parallel concepts there for sure. My son lives in Austin, and it's a greater area of 1 million people, greater population of 4 million people in that area. And University of Texas, there's a lot of scrutiny on the football program, not so much the basketball program. But it gets offset by the Cowboys and the Texans and San Antonio, the Spurs. So it's not the main focal point. So my key point is the Lobos benefit from all this press coverage, expectations and exuberance and everything. And then when it doesn't go well, then there's a backlash. And
Edward, there's been a
concept,
term for that. I mean, it's been the fishbowl.
Very similar.
Yeah, it's been called the fishbowl. There's been a term for that ever since I've been here. It's been called the UNM fishbowl. It's 100% accurate. They've always been the biggest show in this state, and fans get passionate. And I think everybody understands that. I think the question is there a line? And maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I mean, maybe we all have different opinions on that.
Sure. But I'm proud of House. I'm proud of Mashburn. Like you said, they come from a great basketball lineage, and they provided a lot of excitement. And whether or not they make the tournament remains to be seen, but it's been very positive, and I think that's something they can build on. And they were the foundation and the precipice of a change and inflection point in this program. So anyway, appreciate you letting me share a few thoughts.
No, it's
good. Have a great day.
Thanks, Edward. And Edward, what he basically defined is the fishbowl effect, right?
Yeah, and I do think it is fair to though separate professional athletes from student athletes in the NIL era, because professional athletes are, I think, better equipped, and it's not easier, better equipped, but to go through this stuff, and then people are saying, well, then this is what we're doing. We're just teaching them to be pro athletes. Okay.
All right, Jeff Grammer's going to join us coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll talk to him about it. Senior night, man. He's with this team every day, and he's got a really good feel on it. And he's been writing about this, tweeting about this right in the middle of it. And again, remember tomorrow, right about now, Jerry Palm will be with us, the bracketologist from CBS Sports. We'll hear what he has to say. I know you know that I had LASIK about 20-something years ago at Coleman Vision. Dr. Stephen Coleman did my LASIK. And there's not many things in life that truly are life-changing. That was life-changing. I at the time, I was anchoring the morning news. I was getting up 3 a.m, driving in, wearing glasses, putting on my makeup, and then putting on my contacts. Yes, I wore makeup on TV. I probably should do it now. And it was miserable. I saw Dr. Coleman. I had the process done in the afternoon. I had a 1 o'clock appointment. I anchored the news at 5 o'clock the next morning without any lenses, and I wear reading glasses now because that's just natural progression. but I still far away. It still is impacting my life. It was immediate. The minute I opened my eyes, it changed my life. If you are sick of contacts and glasses and all of that stuff, I recommend Dr. Coleman implicitly. He is the best. He is on the cutting edge of the technology. He plays a significant role in developing the current technology that's used all around the world. People come from everywhere to Coleman Vision to have Dr. Coleman do their LASIK. He's become a good friend. But most of all, you walk in there, the second you walk in there, you'll feel it. You'll understand what's going on. And he will also, if you're not a candidate, he'll tell you you're not a candidate and give you other options. He's not just going to do LASIK because he needs it. He does it. He's there to help you. The procedure's quick. He'll let you watch the procedure on someone else so you get all the confidence you need. If you are done with contacts, lenses, all that stuff, call Coleman Vision, make an appointment. You can go online, see everything there, colemanvision.com. colemanvision.com and call, make an appointment. 505-821-8880. 505-821-8880.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school.
These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road.
When it comes to the franchise tags, I think with the tags, it was to be expected with the players. Because I look at the ones that I expected to be back are there. The teams that don't have room let some of the guys walk, especially Miami, man. The Dolphins
They're just sending guys away, yeah.
They're in a rough spot right now.
Jerome Baker just got released. He was making, 10.7 plus, cap number of over 14.5. So he's gone. They're Christian Wilkins free agency. So they're unloaded.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Sometimes you have these moments where you push in on older guys, and the bill does come due. Even in the NFL, when we talk about so many times being able to do crazy things with contracts and signing bonuses, sometimes you still have to get to the point where you clear space to be able to then move on forward. And the Dolphins are going to have a lot of work to do to rebuild that defense.
Yeah. All right. The Tampa Bay tagged safety Antoine Winfield keeps him around, but they still want to sign a long-term deal to it or with him. This was expected. They could have tagged Baker Mayfield, but they opted to go this way on it. So I got to believe they're re-signing Baker Mayfield. Is there a better place for Mayfield? I just don't see one. He's got Mike Evans re-signed. He's in the system. He was there. They won a division championship. They won a playoff game, right? He started over how many times now? Like, it almost feels like, dude, you got someone who wants you. A year ago, nobody did that. You were a stopgap. You found a place that feels like it works. I even if he's, and it's easy for me to talk about someone else's money, but I mean, even if you got to take a couple less dollars, doesn't it feel like that's the ideal spot for him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see you shaking your head back there a little bit.
It's a great spot for him, but there are other options. I keep looking at Atlanta, and I'm thinking,
Dude, all right,
that's a great spot for anyone to land.
First of all, why? Drake London and Bijan Robinson, and they got a new coach. And they have been the epitome of mediocrity. Yeah, they got I mean, I'm not telling you it's horrible. First of all, from Atlanta's standpoint, it feels like there's better options. And certainly for Baker,
would you take Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield?
Kirk Cousins.
Coming off the Achilles?
Yeah, I probably would. If I'm them. Yeah.
I think those are the same exact football team with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. The same
Who would
exact
you take? Which one, Baker Mayfield or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
You wouldn't? And I like Baker.
I like Baker too.
I'm not sure I trust him.
I am kind of with you. I don't know if I trust him. I just coming off that Achilles. That you're going to spend
That's
a
fair.
lot
No,
of
that's
money
totally
on
fair. Well, I mean, everybody's telling me how great Aaron Rodgers is going to be coming off his Achilles.
No guarantee.
And he's older.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're going to be great next year. Really? Jeff Grammer's joining us next. He's the beat writer for Louisville basketball. It's senior night tonight. We're going to get into that. The headline on CBS Sports right now: bracketology, painful loss for the Aztecs, and it's got. I didn't realize they had that injury too. How far they dropped, but we'll talk to him about the Twitterverse and what's too much, and get his take on senior night. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Really interested in having this conversation with Jeff Grammer, the beat writer for Albuquerque Journal, on so many levels. We've had a lot of conversations this morning about the seniors and what's too much as far as criticism on the Twitter and where do you go. I'm going to restate a couple of things and then we'll go forward. I expect that these two young men, especially House and Mashburn, will get a tremendous ovation. And JJ, you said that you think that fans are going to be inspired by the negativity and make sure they understand how they're appreciated. I think these two young men are responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back. What does back mean? Back to relevance, back to you caring, back to you getting so upset that some people send the tweets and whatever they're sending. Back to national prominence, back to top 30 in the net, back to everybody's brackets. Maybe not the end, we'll see. And then as far as how far is it, to go, is there a line as far as what is being able to say on social media? I let's start the line at, if you wouldn't say it to his face, maybe you shouldn't thumb it. Jeff Grammer covers Lobo basketball for the Journal. He is also a savant on social media, as good a Twitter follow as there is. What's up, Gigi? How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Right. I kind of like, I'm with DC and JJ. Is it cool that you're Gigi?
Yeah, I'm Gigi's fine.
Yeah, all right.
I'll take Gigi.
That's what JJ's son calls his grandma, though.
We have a grandma in the family too that's Gigi. So, but I'm fine with Gigi. It's a lot better than other things I get called.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Isn't it? It's like it beats up the beat writer too. That could be a new segment.
Yeah,
right?
Beat up the beat.
I'm telling you, the beat writer beat up is it's sort of like almost, that was so years ago now. Like, bring it back. Beat us up a little bit. It's fine.
I want to start before I get into that. Help me with this, and you can. I respect your opinion a lot. You tell me if I'm wrong. In an era that we are told it's year to year, that every year, well, we'll worry about next year. And it's not wrong. I mean, the portal and everything switches. House and Mashburn been here 3 years. They came here when the program was not very good. Am I going too far to say House and Mashburn are responsible for bringing Lobo basketball back to whatever it is, whatever you think it is, but bringing it back?
Yeah, I mean, look, in college basketball, more than a lot of sports, the head coach gets a lot of the credit and a lot of the attention and this and that, and they're the stars, partly because you have a rotation of every 4 years or so. The players, move on. So people know the stars are the coaches. So I would throw Pitino in there. It was a 3-man rebuild, but like if you're looking at on the court, these are two guys that, they both transferred to New Mexico from power conference programs to better their situations, and they did. Both of them got a lot out of this, but it'd be ridiculous not to acknowledge the fact that two all-league guards that came to this program and took them from 303 in the net to 29 in the net today didn't absolutely have a huge impact, the primary impact on rebuilding the program into whatever it is.
Jeff, it's been 3 years. They were the foundation of this thing. I mean, Toppin and Dent are great, and I'm taking nothing away from them as far as being this year and being where they are in the net. But the foundation, when these guys got here, and you'll know better than me or JJ, how how many of these guys came partially because, hey, they get to come play with those two dynamic guards.
They were literally recruit number one was Jamal Mashburn Jr., who before Richard Pitino ever took the New Mexico job, when he got fired at Minnesota, Jamal Mashburn Sr. called him and said, "Tell us where you're going. Mash Jr.'s following you wherever it is." And recruit number two, and the first one that came out publicly on social media, was Jalen House. So they were the first two, and then all the pieces that kind of fell into place after that for year one was because they're making some serious moves. They're legitimate. This rebuild over there at New Mexico's the real deal. KJ Jenkins spoke openly about it when he came after leading the nation, the junior college ranks in three-point shooting. KJ Jenkins came and said, "I wanted to go to a place where I could test myself against the best guards." And that didn't necessarily mean against other teams. Like in my own locker room and in my own practices, I wanted to go there because Mashburn and House were there, and I needed to prove to myself and to others that I could hang with guys like that. And he was a great six man, a great shooter, and is doing very well at UNC Wilmington this year. They beat Kentucky at Kentucky. There have been players that have openly talked about Mashburn and House being the reason, the legitimacy, I guess, of this program's rebuild.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, with us. Jeff, in this conversation, we've been having over the last couple of days, we had it yesterday on the show. I saw it blow up on Twitter with a lot of things. What are some of the things that you're seeing that people are not specifics, but what is it that is pushing you feel over the line that we're having this conversation? Because some people are saying, hey, we're just talking basketball. We're not criticizing the players, but there feels like there's something a little bit more that is kind of why we're addressing the negativity that's been more than just a team that lost the basketball.
Yeah, there's a couple things. One is I have the best sports job in the state of New Mexico. I have one of the best sports jobs out west, where I'm at a newspaper that still lets me travel with the team and devotes enough resources I get enough time and resources to get to know coaches around the league. Yes, there is a certain element of every fan base does this. Every fan base does this with their players. There is also a 100%, I am not making this up, because it does me no good to make this up. It's not like a click on Twitter gets me any extra pay. It doesn't get us any extra traffic on our website. I'm not making this up when I tell you New Mexico and New Mexico fans are absolutely known for being the most passionate, good and bad. It is not something that has been a secret. Patino's talked about it. There was a column I wrote 6 years ago now when Larry Eustace said the worst job in the Mountain West was the New Mexico job because they don't pay enough to put up with what those fans expect. That was all public. That was a coach at an opposing school for whatever reason choosing to say it public. This is not something being made up by the media. This is something that is real. And what I think is the line crossing is it might not even be one specific tweet, although there have been those and DMs that have been those. It is the constant direct reminders to the players that, man, you are really bad. And gambling has been a big part of this. There have been a lot of anonymous accounts that start DMing players and threatening them in various ways because of betting. That has really picked up in the last couple of years. But it's the constant harassment of just negativity and sucking the energy out of the room kind of stuff about how, man, no wonder you're at New Mexico. You can't play anywhere better kind of stuff that goes on and on. And the problem that I think some of the players here have started to, I guess, experience is that it comes sometimes in emotional moments after games from accounts they recognize as being legitimate Lobo fans, not as being the anonymous gambling guy, but guys they
people who would praise them when they won. People who
throughout the week they're like, "Oh, go Lobos! Make sure you're at the game tonight." And then if they lose, they're like, "I'm so sick of this guy. How is he not benched?" And Jaden Ledee went 2 for 12 last night in a road win at UNLV.
Road loss. In a road loss at UNLV. And yes, San Diego State fans are going to be pretty mad, but I'll bet you he's not. Now, Jalen House is a very different player in a lot of other reasons. I get that. But he's not really getting the same sort of, I can't believe, Patino should be fired for allowing his point guard to go 2 for 12 and shoot him out of the game. Have his mouthpiece hanging out of his face, right?
And have his mouthpiece hanging out, who, by the way, Jaden Ledee actually has his mouthpiece hanging out quite a bit too. But the reality is, I think it's a combination of specific direct tweets sometimes, but also just sort of the constant negativity.
He's Jeff Grammer, beat writer for the Albuquerque Journal. He covers the Lobos.
Jeff, and I do think this is fascinating because I know there's so many people listening right now going, "You guys are dopes. You're soft. This is ridiculous. This is what you sign up for." But I guess part of it too is a balance, and I think we should have these conversations because this is life, and part of life is going to be dealing with direct attacks on social media that are not, anonymous a lot of times, and learning how to navigate your way through this. And I'm just fascinated because of the people on the other end, and the student athletes. Who I think part of the process of growing up is taking the good with the bad, but how much bad should you learn to have to deal with? But I guess it's a lot at this point in time, right?
Yes. First of all, there's an element of the kids these days, and the modern college kid has grown up in an era where they probably haven't had to face the confrontational moments a whole lot, because a lot of it does come on social media, and you have to learn to have a thicker skin because your boss is going to tell you stuff you don't like and all that. There's some truth to all that. I've got a kid growing up right now that can't handle confrontation like I remember handling it. If I had a bad grade and my mom wanted to chew me out a little bit, that happened. And I'll tell you what, I didn't cry every time it happened or get emotional, but those kind of things seem to happen right now a little more. There's some truth to that. But there's also some truth to the fact that the people dishing that out that don't know these people, that never happened when we were growing up. So to compare it, like when I grew up, I would have had thicker skin. you didn't have anonymous people constantly telling you you're a bad person
you don't know
for
who they
not
are.
making a shot.
Did you have
All the
another
time.
segment in you, Jeff?
Yeah.
And if you, okay, because when we come back, I want to talk to you about the effects, if any, do you think it has on recruiting? Because I think a lot of people say that's BS, and I want to get into that. And where I think the line, good conversation and starting the conversation, where's the line? Where you shouldn't hit send or whatever. I want to have that conversation. So Jeff, I appreciate you being with us, and we're gonna have another segment with Jeff Grammer of the Albuquerque Journal. We'll continue this conversation on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
I was
certainly having a conversation about Jalen House and Jamal Mashburn and what they've done. Jeff, in regards, we're having a conversation about social media and criticism. Look, I think passion works both ways. And this fan base, as you've alluded to quite often, is as passionate as there is. And so when fans win, they're going to go crazy. When fans lose, they tend to go crazy. And I think every fan's got a right to be critical, and every fan's got a right to criticize. That's part of the deal. And where's the line? Is it fair to start the conversation when we say, where's the line? This is where I do it. And I'd love your thoughts on it. I try not to say anything on the radio that I would never say, that I wouldn't say to someone's face. Is it fair in your mind, hey, if I wouldn't say this to his face, I shouldn't push send?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a good general sort of rule of thumb in life and in this scenario. I don't fall under the side of the argument of, I buy my ticket, I buy my right to say whatever I want at a game. I know there are some people who think fans can't get thrown out for saying horrible things at a game, and that would kind of fall under the, well, I said it to his face sort of thing. So even the scenario of, well, if I said it to his face, it's okay.
You wouldn't say it to his
it doesn't
face
make
if
it
you
okay
were
to say,
standing
yeah.
there on the street. I mean, it's one thing to hide behind a crowd, but I mean, if you were standing there or sitting in a restaurant, you wouldn't say it to his face.
And I think that maybe the line isn't so much just a two-person sort of thing. It's not just the person receiving the comment and the person giving the comment don't cross that line. I think sometimes we need to look at this as it's okay to call bad people out. If you're just kind of being a jerk, it's okay to point that out and say, hey, quit being a jerk. And maybe if more people sort of did that and policed their own within fan bases, maybe the conversation wouldn't catch some so off guard. I think some people seem to be caught off guard by this, sort of forgetting the hints along the way. If you just look at the past decade, Hugh Greenwood once made a comment. Hugh Greenwood, his senior year, the pink pack year, when he's growing out his hair and doing all these wonderful things that Lobo fans loved and adore, and he is still one of the most loved Lobos ever. He made a comment his senior year about how much pressure it is to play in the pit. When he did that, I remember Daniel Ferris told me, like, yeah, man, especially being a local guy, like there's some Lobo fans that never think, they always want the local guy to be a Lobo, but once he is, they talk about how bad he is. Daniel Ferris once told me that. Lobo fans can be critical, and that's fine. Like, passion is a privilege, right? Or pressure is a privilege, is what some coaches say, and that comes with passion. So, yeah, look, part of this all is kind of, it comes hand in hand, but there is a line, and the line kind of comes down to whether or not the players just feel uncomfortable. If you are making them feel uncomfortable, it doesn't matter how you grew up or what you think is right. You're making them uncomfortable. Maybe you need to back off.
All right, so I need to ask you this question because this leads perfectly into it, and you're way closer to this than I ever will be. Somebody close to the program told me, look, man, it has effect on recruiting. That players talk, and you want to keep Nelly or Dent or JT or whatever. It can have a negative effect. And I've heard player fans say that's BS, and if they don't want to be here, then they should go. And I can see how it would. I don't know to what extreme it does, but do you think it has an effect? Like if Donovan Dent or JT, right? You got to re-recruit each guy each year. Does it have an effect on the recruiting piece? A negative effect?
Yeah, I think it does. I think initially there is you got to look at recruiting in a different way now, Dave, too, right? Like recruiting now is a continual process throughout the college experience. It's not just the recruits out of high school. I think for a long time, Lobo fans and fan bases at other schools were doing good by reaching out on social media and being so active in these young high school guys' social media lives by telling them how much they were going to be, wanted here and this and that. Now the interaction with fans and the players isn't just about getting them here. It's also about when they are here, right? the big piece of NIL. Everyone always talks about recruiting, but the other R is the retention. Well, that kind of plays in here too. And if the experience here is a constant sort of negativity and negative cloud, and I talk, frankly, while I'm around the players a lot and the coaches, I talk with their parents more than I talk with the players about a lot of this sometimes. And the parents are aware of it. It's not so much the players all the time that openly speak about it, because they're tough guys sometimes. They're college guys. They don't want to talk about it. But their parents are absolutely aware. And when the parents are that aware, I guarantee you the parents and the kids had these conversations. So, yeah, it does affect it. I don't know of a recruit yet that has left or not come because of it, but don't think it's not one of the you pull out the yellow notepad and the pros and the cons. Don't think it's not on the list.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, with us in the opening drive. And Jeff, at least on social media yesterday after our show, and I saw some of the things that you were talking about, there was a big positive pushback. And it's easy to get caught up in things and at times paint with a broad brush. And that's why I'm expecting the Lobo fan base to respond tonight. I am expecting a lot of support for Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr. What do you think the response for those guys is going to be tonight?
Huge ovation. I think it'll be a huge ovation. I will say that Lobo fan has not ever gotten to the point where at the games, now I have heard booing and jeering and comments at games and bad moments. They lost to Air Force. Be mad as heck about that. It's a horrible loss. Be mad. I've never heard them at a senior night, take it out on players or something. I don't think they will tonight. I think they will act with the same kind of level of, frankly, passion and good class and dignity that has made the Lobo program what it is without that Sweet 16 success, right? This program, I tell people all the time, is absolutely about the fans. It's not about the Houses and the Mashburns and the Patinos. It is about the fans, which is why there's sort of an added responsibility sometimes that maybe the fans need to understand that, yeah, you honor your players and you treat your Lobos a certain way and you treat them this way and that way, and we're fans, we love you guys. But, there hasn't been that success. So when people around the country think of the New Mexico Lobo program, they think of the pit. They think of the crazy home court advantage despite no postseason success yet. So that's sort of where we're at. I think they'll treat their Lobos going out well. It should be worth pointing out, in case you guys haven't, Mashburn has not made a 100% decision yet if he's coming back or not.
Yep.
He is going through senior night, and this is the end of an era because it's over for House. So even if he does come back, it's the end of the House and Mashburn era. I'm leaning towards I don't think Mashburn comes back, but that's a lean that I have no say in. So
Jeff, what am I supposed to make of the other two seniors, Nelly and Mustafa, not going through senior night tonight?
That's interesting because I did ask yesterday, what do we read into that? And Patino said, nothing. They haven't gotten they're not on pace yet to get their degree, so they're not going to walk.
Has that always been a criteria?
No, but because they won't get their degree, they both have to come back because they can't do a graduate transfer next year. So that doesn't mean anything either, though, right? Like in this modern age, you can still find ways to transfer, it seems like, all the time. But it sounded like what Patino was saying was more to the effect that if they want to play college basketball again next year, it'll have to be here because neither one of them will wrap it up by the springtime. So, no, it is not a criteria here. It has not been a criteria here before.
All right,
in fact, there's been a lot of senior nights with players that still haven't graduated from UNM.
No, that's what I thought. All right, lastly, man, this league's crazy. And we'll all be in Vegas next week. Am I ridiculous to think my favorite to win this league is UNLV, followed by Nevada right now to win the tournament?
Man, I might even reverse them just because I think Nevada's playing so well, but it's hard to argue with UNLV, who's won 9 out of 10. So UNLV's won 9 out of 10. Their only loss was at home to Nevada.
Well, and UNLV's only lost when they blew a lead to Nevada out of their last 9 out of
10. Yeah, and so this is sort of a crazy, not only a crazy league, and we've talked about it a lot. If you look right now, there are 7 games left, and there are 11 teams in the Mountain West. There are only 2 seeds locked in right now, the number 8 Wyoming and number 9 Fresno State. After tonight, if the favorites win, if Utah State wins and New Mexico wins, you are going into the Friday, Saturday weekend slate of games with 5 games left, and those will still be the only 2 seeds locked in. There will be 5 games left and 9 seeds still yet undetermined. And the other note, there's 2 other quick notes I want to make to point out the craziness of this league. Air Force is probably going to finish 2-16 in league play with both of their wins being quad one road wins. Then you have the team that entered league play when this all started. The highest ranked team was Colorado State. They're probably going to be the 7th seed. There is also a scenario where the highest ranked team right now in the final week, San Diego State, could be the 6th seed.
That's right. If they lose
could be
both
a 4th seed in the NCAA tournament and a 6th seed in the Mountain West tournament.
If they lose to Boise State and the Lobos win their 2 games, the Lobos get off of that Wednesday game. So New Mexico still has a shot if they win tonight and win at Utah State, and San Diego State loses at home to Boise State. Lobos would get the 5, and the Aztecs drop to 6.
It's been a great year for them. And I said this to Gloria. I did a podcast with her earlier this week, and I told her, kudos to you and whoever at the league had a hand in capitalizing on this moment. You guys didn't win any games. They weren't on the court. They're not the coaches or players. But kudos to the Mountain West for sort of not getting in the way of what was a good opportunity for the league to get some national exposure. They didn't either get in the way of it, and they seemed to capitalize it at an appropriate sort of level. So, look, all around the Mountain West, in the year that the Pac-12 is saying goodbye, absolutely flourished when the spotlight was on them. And, it's a good thing for the league. We don't know what any of this means long-term, but in their moment this year, the Mountain West has shined.
We'll see you tonight. Catch up with you in Vegas. I appreciate you doing this last minute. I just thought you were the guy on this. I know you talked about it yesterday, and the conversation on our show has been quite a bit about it. So thank you for jumping on last minute, and read them every day over at the Albuquerque Journal. What's your Twitter handle?
At Jeff Grammer, and I spelled my first name right. It's Geoff.
Right. Wright. That's your first name? Is that
correct?
Okay. Talk to you soon. Be well.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. 505-246-0610. You're already there. I appreciate his perspective on it. And we follow it, but he's there every day. And one of the things he said to me, and it resonates the most, I talk to the parents more. Look, dude, my kid may not hear what you say about her, but I sure as hell do. And it's going to have a big effect. And that's one that just hit me in the face. I talk to the parents more, and they're listening. So it's the opening drive. If you're there, stay there. We're going to get to the phones on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Center.
Inside the paint, Benally slicing and dicing the defense.
Good steal there. Archuleta underneath the scoop shot, and he scores. Shake and bake there to the corner for the 3. That looks good. Elijah Martinez.
Diego. Stolen away by Rodriguez. Sarton's on the run again. Pass up to Jason Montoya on the right side. Spin move is up. Shot is good.
In their defense. Kick out Otero. Defender went flying by. And Otero breaks the seal. First 3 of the night belongs to the Huskies.
Go. Here's Holland, who steals it away from Capital, getting double teamed. Here's Holland pushing his way forward and getting more points.
Working inside, got his man in the air, and there's a putback for Nico Gutierrez.
Eldorado right in this.
Eventually, that pass was going to get stolen. I saw that coming. They ran the same play 3 straight possessions.
Anna Taylor was off the steal.
Made him pay.
Puts it home. Nice shot by Anna Taylor.
Beautiful find inside. Blocked by Hiron.
Got numbers.
Randall drives baseline. Cut off. That's great defense there. Benally off the quick pass, and you just can't stop these Matadors sometimes.
It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
Oh, real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that?
That's your new buddy in jail.
I'm going out, Grandma.
When are you coming home?
I'll be home late. Don't wait up, okay?
16, Elite 8, and sometimes they get upset and they start blaming coaches and players, which that shows they shouldn't do that, but it shows how passionate they are. They want to go somewhere. I mean,
no doubt.
I think the biggest game, the furthest the Lobos ever went, and maybe 2 or 3 generations, was with Bob King. 1964, they went to the NIT, the finals, and I think they came in second to Bradley.
Okay.
And that was when they were playing at Johnson Gym, But that's what the Lobo fans want to see, but they should not get upset with coaches and players,
No, Mike, I'm going to tell you, there's a difference between getting upset and being passionate, and when it gets personal and you're getting into guys' direct messaging and calling them names and threatening and that kind of stuff. There is a line, right? Be passionate. Damn, we blew that game. Oh, coach should have done this, right? All that. When it gets personal, I think that's when people are talking about across the line.
You're exactly right, but that could be probably the betters,
No, and that's what Jeff said. And there's a good part of it. Mike, appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger on us. I'm going to move because I got full phone lines. Mike called at 505-246-0610. It's really an interesting perspective of the betting aspect of it.
Yeah.
And has magnified it.
And I think you can filter through that. It's what Jeff mentioned when it's the people who they are.
Right.
Because
not a random account. Yeah.
They're there all year long. And I think it's okay to have this conversation when you have such a passionate fan base, when it matters this much, when that building is getting filled up, when we're able to have this discussion about college basketball, unlike in so many places. It's okay to have this discussion of, are there some people that are taking it?
Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Jeffrey?
I think Mike just kind of commandeered my point, but I'll reiterate. And again, I'm not trying to justify the irrational passions of Lobo fans. And again, I'm not a hypocrite, so I'm going to put myself squarely into that place. But there are sections of Lobo fans that have emotional and economic equity as season ticket holders and boosters for 40 years. I mean, I had a class with Michael Cooper, Marvin Johnson. That's how old I am. And again, I'm not justifying it, but when you have 45 years of emotional equity and economic equity into the program, I mean, your passions are going to be at an apex. And I wanted to make a distinction because I'm not a hypocrite. I try to be very self-aware. When the Lobos lost Air Force, I did boo. But I was booing performance, not the person. And there's a big difference in the art of elocution, which is speech making. It's called ad hominem, when you're attacking the person personally and not the evidentiary surrounding material. So, yes, I have booed because I'm not a hypocrite, but I'm booing based on poor performance, not the person himself. And I think that's an extraordinarily important distinction because it's not hateful, I don't think. I think it's just booing an expectation of performance that didn't take place.
Fair enough. No, I appreciate you, Jeffrey. Thank you. I think this goes back to a point I made earlier. And Jeffrey, thanks. Remember, I told you earlier, and many of you weren't, as the audience turns over, the referee who years ago told me, he says, you want to tell me that call sucked? Look, it might have sucked. I'm fine. If I'm a referee and a coach is yelling at me, that call sucked. That was a brutal call. that was a BS call. Fine. But if he tells me I suck, we got a problem. Then I'm teeing him up or I'm throwing him out, right? That was an idiotic call. Maybe. You're an idiot. Now we got a problem, okay? And that's the difference, right? And I think that's kind of where Jeffrey was going. Frank, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning, guys.
What's up, Frank?
I been in Mexico for a couple of weeks, and I get home, and it's like, what the hell is going on in Albuquerque? God, man. Joe Montana talks weird. What's going on here? I'm lost. I don't get it.
Hey, welcome
I
home.
love these guys. I love this team. Those are Aggie fans texting and doing the social crap. Come on, man. Don't kid yourself.
You
We
think
love
it's
this
all
team.
Aggie fans? You think that's all it is? You know it's
Come
not.
on, guys. Let's stick together. Let's be together. Come on. You know, I'm baffled by it. These are the greatest fans, the best fan base on the planet. They've never done anything, and they're the best fans ever. They've never won anything. I'm going to get in my truck. I'm going to drive to Chimayo today, and I'm going to bring a bucket of dirt back, and let's get on with it. Let's go.
Frank, love that call. My favorite. Thanks, Frank. You know what I need? I need to go to Mexico for 2 weeks. Just come back and go, don't worry, be happy. You know what I mean? A couple weeks down in Mexico, it's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm going to go to Chimayo and get some dirt.
You know what? As your producer, confidant, I say 2 weeks in Mexico sounds perfect.
Let's go. 2 weeks. What's it? It's not that bad. How about change your perspective? Albuquerque, change your perspective, right? That's Visit Albuquerque's tagline. That's what 2 weeks in Mexico will do for you. What do you say? They've never done anything, and it's the best fan base in the country.
There is something to that. Look, I've seen some schools that just they have a couple bad years and the gym's empty.
Well,
doesn't happen here.
It got emptier a couple of years ago. Yeah, it got bad for a little bit. I mean, not. And when I say bad to the point where many, and JJ, I'll even argue more than half of the fan base in America would have loved the bad crowds that we were getting around here.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. I think about University of Colorado. They're in similar position as UNM right now. I bet their crowds are half the size for their home games.
Maybe. Yeah. Sherman, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Sherman?
So, you know, that little bit of different view. Being passionate does not create entitlement to be nasty and cruel. And you can't, there's just no way you can carve that out by saying, well, I'm passionate, therefore it's okay for me to be nasty and cruel. And, yeah, I'm an old guy. I've been going to the pit since the pit was built. And, yes, the social media changed it. And for the people that send a direct message to a player that's nasty and cruel, truly that has no place in the Lobo fan base. So I was sorrowful to hear that it is happening to the extent that apparently it is.
I think that's fair. That's where the line is, right? Every generation, Sherm. I mean, whether you were in the '60s, in the '80s, the nows, like there's been criticism. It's been talk radio, writing into a newspaper, or booing fans. I think we all agree when it gets personal, when it crosses a line. And is it a different generation? Yeah, man. And it's so, I don't know. It's easy to be pretty damn brave behind your phone and with your thumbs. So
yeah, particularly when you're anonymous.
Yeah. All right, man. Good to hear you. Always is. Thanks.
Take care, my friend.
Be well. I don't know. Are we too soft? Are the players too soft? I don't think so. I don't think
Charmin.
so. I mean, is because there's going to be people who are out there, and JJ, you know this.
Yeah, that's fine.
The people who are firing these.
I don't. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to be pro player, a pro student athlete, and people know the discussion we're having. If you can't wrap your head around the discussion we're having, then maybe you need to take a step back because it's not about criticizing defense or basketball decisions. It goes further than that when it gets to a point that it's being addressed. That, like, man, the personal attacks. That's what we're discussing. And if you can't wrap your mind around that, maybe you just take a deep breath, take a pause, and hope tonight is a great night at the pit. The fans are going to respond. They're going to be rowdy for their seniors.
They better win tonight.
Yes. If they don't win tonight, I'm fully expecting everyone that is sitting here saying, hey, yeah, we're for the Lobos to be the complete opposite tomorrow. And riot police might need to be out. It's entirely possible. if they lose this game.
Yeah, and again, I don't think JJ nor me or anybody are saying, you can't be critical and you can't be upset when your team loses. You can. That's fandom.
You're smart enough
100%.
to understand the discussion we're having.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, man. When it really kind of took a different perspective for me is when Grammer said, I talked to the parents more than I talked to the players, and it affected. I mean, damn. But that look, it's also part of it. When you put yourself out there, when you put yourself in the public eye, and I don't care if that means you're president, you're an athlete, or you're a local radio host. But we get hit all the time, JJ. No, not at the extent that these guys maybe do. But I look, I've been on between running a bowl game and doing this particular show for 15 and a half years and being in media in this market for 27 and a half years. I've taken my share of arrows now. I've been called everything. And I get it. And it's not fun. I'm a man. I'm 40, right? I mean, I don't like. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it. And my daughter sees some of that stuff, and it really bothers her. When Audra hears some of that, it really bothers her. But there is a line, you guys. Those of you who say, they put themselves. You're right. Part of being high profile, or not even high profile, it's just in the public eye at whatever level. And I don't care if it's president, governor, politician, state rep, coach, player, whatever. It is part of it, but there is a line. And I don't know. I mean, you guys got to figure out where it is crossing it, and are you doing more damage than good? And probably, I don't know. People say step away from it when you're drunk. Probably step away from when you're emotional too. Do you have tweet rules? Do you tweet when you're emotional? Do you tweet? You don't drink, but when you have a few in you, like do you not send stuff?
No, I think about that stuff.
You do.
Yeah. And I think if anyone who has followed me, maybe at times realize that I'm a little less active because at times you don't want to just get caught up in that go back and forth all the time.
Stuff's there forever, man.
Yeah.
It's like luggage, and it's there forever.
You can do it like I do it and just stay off.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see my social media profile too.
I don't because I'm not on social media.
Yeah,
but it's part of the business.
Very,
it is. It totally is. It totally is.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. Light them up. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. We'll get you ready for the day. Everything you got to know as you go through your Wednesday when we get back. I want to tell you about my friends at On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Why do I tell you about them? Because I actually really, really, really believe in them, and I like their service a lot. And they have come out numerous times and detailed my vehicle. They do it where it works for me and when it works for me, and that's at work. I leave here, I have another, I go to the office and I don't have time to take my car in. They come out to me and they detail my vehicle. And when they are done, people are literally last time standing around going, wow, that's awesome. I want to get that. Well, you can as well. Just go to otsdetailing.com. They've got ceramic coating and paint protection film that work like magic. There's no more mud, dirt, and water stains. They've got protective layering that helps prevent UV oxidation, and that damages your car's paint. This protects you. They're awarded best in the city because they know what it takes to make your car in the best condition it can be. Look, this is one of your biggest investments. Protect it and call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Or book and buy online. It's at otsdetailing.com. otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Look at the lines. I want to say thank you to the conference tournament sponsors who are making sure that we're there for you. DSI Document Solutions Incorporated, New Mexico. Boost your productivity and reduce your costs with DSI. Frontier Restaurant in Albuquerque, tradition for more than 50 years. Enchanted Mechanical, the heating and cooling doctor. Airport parking, easier, quicker, smarter. And Coleman Vision, perfect vision, perfect game. Let's go. I got one line open, 505-246-0610. Hello, Mike. You're on the Sports Animal.
Hey, good morning, Lobo Land. You know, I'm excited to see our challenges ahead of us, and one of them, I think, is the game plan, not to just win the game, but to get over the psychological part of this game. This is such a passionate fan base. I think it puts so much pressure on the players, and, you know, I think looking at that last game, how many of those shots, house shot, were just short-armed. I mean, and I think that's just specifically psychological. I think they work really hard. I think they got to get past. They got to worry. You know, they worry so much about losing than just playing the game. And I know we're much better than that. And I think we had high hopes. And I think the frustration showed at the last home game. We love our team. You know, we're going to be passionate. But we're going to take the highs with the highs and the lows with the lows. And, you know, we don't know anything in between. And that's just our fan base. But Fresno is a good team. I mean, anyone that thinks that they should be like an Air Force, I don't think so at all.
Let's hope it's not.
And good luck, Lobo.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you're up in Chimayo, bring a big bucket of dirt. I think we need a little extra.
No doubt. Bring the holy dirt back.
No doubt.
No doubt. All right, Mike, thanks.
All right, take care.
See, I hope it's not like Air Force. I mean, all right, for a Lobo fan, I hope it's not. Yeah, go get that holy dirt and bring it back. It's that time of year. Fred, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Fred?
Hey, guys. Hey, I could disagree with what Jeff said about I hate to say his name, but I mean, he said it on the air.
That he booed?
That he's doing that he booed because of performance and not the player. I mean, it seems impossible that you could. How does people say something like that? I thought that's a team. It's a team you're booing then. So I just didn't like what he said. I thought that's wrong.
Right.
I don't know if maybe that's the way he thinks, but but anyway, no. But the one thing that's funny is in these games, like McIntosh last night, he scores
26.
26 points, and the rest of the team really didn't shoot that well and stuff. But it's kind of remind me of what Rice did to the Lobos when he scored 35 points. And then Thomas for UNLV, what he did and stuff. It just amazing how the conference is just so crazy and so close. And then we got 7 teams that are going to have 20 wins this year. Yeah. And it's been so much fun. It just, to make the season end, it's going to be tough for everybody. I tell you, it's been a fun year though, because all the teams are so good in the Mountain West.
Yep. And let's hope this is the way it goes. No, appreciate you, Fred. And it has been a great year. And Grammer said something earlier too. The Mountain West kind of got out of the way and didn't screw it up. They really promoted and had a great year, and it's been special. Josue, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Hoser?
I'm here to light it up, light it up. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you. It's just been fun to those guys, those teams that have been together here the last three seasons. It makes my little side gig a lot better to see those big crowds. I do remember when I first started, those crowds were not as big, and it made my job just seem a little harder.
Like,
but boy,
boo this man.
What's that?
They're saying boo this man on the floor.
Yeah, they were, man. They were throwing stuff at me, and they didn't like the stunts we were doing. And I remember, I had to settle them down.
Who wants a T-shirt?
Have everything in perspective,
Who wants pizza?
But man, other than that, man, I have nothing. Yes, the losses. I mean, I've been through that one. I've been through the San Diego State last year, and then the buzzer beater at with UNLV. I mean, yes, those suck. But man, I mean, it's great to be in that position than not to be.
No doubt.
And so man, I'm just grateful, man. I just enjoy the moment and glad that I have a small part in it.
Thanks, Josue.
All right, man.
See you. All right.
Bye.
Text line. So there it is. After the Lobos beat Fresno State and Utah State, and Nevada takes care of UNLV, we gift our good friends Alfred and Neil a conference title, at least a share. Bummer. If Nevada wins and the Lobos beat Utah State, then yes, Alfred and Nevada would get a share of the conference title. This one, different phone number. Steve Alford used to have a no social media rule for his players. Would this help? I wonder if he still does. Can you even do that now?
That. You're going to take a player's phone away from them for the entire season. You could say, hey, if I see a post from you, you get in trouble.
Can you even still do that now?
No. It's such a part of what teams do on social media, what players do.
I mean, it's just what people do, right?
What people do.
Yeah, I don't even know how you do that.
On Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know
everything.
That you do. All right, good stuff today. Have fun out there tonight. Like I didn't expect to do this all day, but this is what you wanted to talk about, and I appreciate it. You know what? It kind of ingrained to me, JJ, is I do believe it's a vocal minority that are filled with the negativity and the personal stuff. I do. Now I could be wrong, but I do believe that. But I thought the conversation was really, really constructive today.
And I'm expecting a big night out of the tape, even for a late start. People to come out, support these seniors in a critical game for the Lobos.
Thanks to Jeff Grammer for being with us. Jerry Palm will be here tomorrow. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On is here at 4. We're back with award-winning radio. Starting tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work on the visuals. DC, great job. Good idea, by the way. DC's like, we should go get Grammer. I'm like, you know what? It's a good idea. So we did. He was good. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Get a nap today. Got home late last night. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing, and we will smell you tomorrow.
Inside the paint, Benally slicing and dicing the defense.
Good steal there. Archuleta underneath the scoop shot, and he scores. Shake and bake there to the corner for the three. That looks good. Elijah Martinez.
Diego. Stolen away by Rodriguez. Sarton's on the run again. Pass up to Jason Montoya on the right side. Spin move is up. Shot is good.
In their defense. Kick out Otero. Defender went flying by, and Otero breaks the seal. First three of the night belongs to the Huskies.
Somewhere to go. Here's Holland, who steals it away from Capital, getting double teamed. Here's Holland pushing his way forward and getting more points.
Working inside, got his man in the air, and there's a putback for Nico Gutierrez.
Eldorado right in this. Eventually that pass was going to get stolen. I saw that coming. They ran the same play 3 straight possessions.
Taylor was off the steal, man.
Made him pay.
Puts it home. Nice shot by Taylor.
Beautiful find inside, blocked by Hiron.
Good numbers.
Randall drives baseline. Cut off. That's great defense there. Benally off the quick pass, and you just can't stop these Matadors sometimes.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.